Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Harry and Jen Do Horror with Friends. On this podcast, we pick a current-ish horror film to analyze, critique, and use as a springboard for further conversation. This month, we are joined by the nerdy tech guy and AV creative Charlie Jones to talk Drew Hancock's Companion. We talk about robot girls, mad scientists, incels, queer readings, bad marketing, and which of the cast should be replaced by Muppets. You should know that on this podcast, we completely spoil our movies, so if you haven't seen Companion yet, make sure you check that one out first. This is a movie that the enjoyment is really, I think, contingent on how much you know about it going into it. If you have a minute, we welcome ratings and reviews on your podcast streaming services. We'd love your help growing the show any way you like if you have the time, especially by sharing these episodes with your horror enthusiast buddies. Next month, we're going to talk about Terrifier 3, directed by Damien Leone and starring David Howard Thornton. In Terrifier 3, Sienna and her brother struggle to rebuild their shattered lives. Just as the holidays approach and the two begin to feel safe, Art the Clown returns. All of that is to come. For now, let's talk to Charlie about Companion.
I've always wanted there to be a horror movie called Gnome.
Like a gnome?
Yeah,
like a garden?
yeah. So maybe I'll combine it with that and make it sci-fi gnomes.
Wow.
Well, what you can do is, make Gnome 2, make Gnome 3. Then when it gets...
Gnome in space!
Yeah, there you go.
All right. You're going to have to wait a while for this movie. Jen Lightfoot. I'm an artist and tattoo artist, and I don't know. Do I have anything going on? It finally feels like summer outside, which I like and don't like. Because last week it felt like fall, and my brain was like, ooh, I want to go to like a farm and get pumpkins. And then I was like, no, Jen, settle down. That's months away.
Yeah. So. It's hard to feel, because I feel like sometimes, in this, world that is barreling toward climate apocalypse, it is sometimes like pleasurable. It's like, oh, here's this like nice 70-degree day in the middle of February, and you like want to enjoy it, and then you're like, oh, it's because the planet's dying, you dick. And I have a hard time, but I also am the same, and I did not mind the like couple of cool days we had because my classroom has no airflow.
Oh, so you're like, I don't want summer to come.
Wait a minute.
At least for like 2 weeks until you're done teaching.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm Harry Nichols. I'm a singer-songwriter, English teacher, and let's see. I always say I'm a dad of 2 small humans and an amateur horror podcaster, apparently. And let's see. The thing I'm thinking about on the summer track is I got a new grill for my birthday.
Nice.
And
wait, when was your birthday?
It was back in April 29th.
Right.
And nice job. Yeah. Thanks for remembering. And I have been grilling so much that my children are now complaining about eating grilled food. They're like, your dad, you're not grilling again, are you? But that doesn't fucking matter to them. I make all sorts of different shit on the grill. It's not like they're eating the same foods. They're just mad that I'm doing that for some reason, and I don't know why.
They would like it.
Listen, one day, they're going to have to make their own goddamn food. And
will that day be tomorrow?
If they don't shut the fuck up about it, yeah.
Oh my god.
So there you go. So we have a friend here. Who's this friend? Who are you?
My name is Charlie Jones, and I am a nerdy tech guy by day, and an audio, video creative, and connoisseur by night. And I am delighted to be here.
Oh.
And I guess just a random thought. I really want to catch the Northern Lights this summer.
Oh.
Yes.
I tried last night because there was supposed to be some last night, but a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
But I'm holding my hopes up.
Because of like a coronal mass ejection, right?
Yeah.
It sounds way more sexual than
I was going to say.
it actually is. That's basically when the sun just like jizzes all over the earth. I mean,
That's what, you know what? If we called it that, a lot more people would be interested.
there's a sun come tonight.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Come on out. The earth is getting a facial. So we're talking. Oh my God. It started really. Wow, this is the raunchiest it's ever begun. We're talking about Companion, right? Companion 2025. Charlie, will you summarize it for us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Companion, a young couple, Josh and Iris, travel to meet their friends, couple Eli and Patrick, and couple Kat and Sergey at Sergey's secluded lake house. The following morning, after a night of drinking and dancing, Iris walks to the lake alone, and Sergey shows up and tries to sexually assault her, but in self-defense, Iris stabs him to death. She returns to the house in a panic, and Josh tells her to go to sleep, literally shutting her down, at which point it is revealed that she is an AI companion robot from a robotics rental company called Empathics, programmed with stock memories, a set of rules, certain traits, such as intelligence and speech, and those can be controlled and customized with an app. Soon after, Iris escapes with Josh's phone, and is soon revealed that Josh has jailbroken Iris to allow harm to be done to humans in a scheme he's coordinated with Kat to kill Sergey and take his millions of dollars and frame Iris for the murder. Josh, Kat, Eli, and Patrick, also revealed to be a companion robot, must now work together to track down and capture Iris so they can get away with all that money. Long story short.
Wait, can I interrupt you?
Yes.
Did you write all dat money?
I did, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent work.
All right. Long story short, Eli and Patrick find Iris first. Iris kills Eli. Iris attempts escape via Josh's self-driving car. Josh reports car stolen, rendering it immobile. Josh resets and jailbreaks Patrick to be his companion killer robot. A cop stops and confronts Iris. Patrick arrives on the scene to capture Iris and kills the cop. Josh orders Patrick to kill Kat. Empathic's techs come to pick up Iris. Patrick kills one of the techs, and Iris is rebooted. Patrick kills himself as he recalls memories of Eli. And Iris finally kills Josh. A newly transformed badass Iris rides off in a red convertible Mustang and waves her a metal hand to a passing lookalike.
There you go. Nice. Wow. I'm so glad you did you went deep on it. We should talk about some analysis ideas. I have a question that I wanted to pose to both of you about this movie, which is
as Harry pulls out his fucking 10-page notes. And I also just want to say that I found out that Harry's notes have a works cited this time.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it is true. I'm so sorry, world. To whoever's listening to this and judging me. Here's what happened, okay? I went down a really hardcore rabbit hole about this movie. 2 reasons. First of all, I watched it long before we recorded this podcast. Way too long before. Probably a month plus before we recorded this, I watched it. And concurrently, this is like a perfect storm, my job, which is to teach high school English, hit that point in the year where the seriousness and the work ethic just absolutely implodes. And so nobody is doing any real work, myself included. Sorry, current students who are going to hear this. And I just, in school, I just started looking up shit about this movie and other movies like it. And so I got on this really intense, I went down this rabbit hole about female robots or female presenting robots, which is totally a trope. It's totally a tradition that has been done again and again and again. And so
Do
the
you
question,
know what the first one was?
The first
Female robot
presenting robot
in a movie
in cinema is Metropolis.
Ah,
Yeah, Maria from Metropolis, or the robot Maria. And And although it had been done in literature before that.
Okay.
And so my question to you is, what, if anything, do you feel like this film adds to the trope and tradition of girl robots or femme presenting androids?
So, Harry,
Yeah.
you may,
Yes.
you may have to just refresh my memory of what other robot tropes
sure.
and movies there are.
Sure. I've got like I have a mini list here. So like it starts with like The Future Eve, which is a book actually from the 1800s, and it's like a Pygmalion story about a scientist creating like the perfect wife sort of thing. There's other Fritz Lang Metropolis. You've got Stepford Wives movies. Have you heard of these movies? It's about a woman who visits moves to like this sort of small rural town where all of the wives of the families seem like too perfect, and it turns out that they're robots. That was done in 1975 and 2004. More recently, you've got examples like Ex Machina. Have we seen Ex Machina?
Yep.
We've got, of course, like this movie. Did anybody watch HBO's Westworld?
Yes.
2016?
I never finished it.
I actually
but-
haven't.
You don't need to finish it. The season 1 is the best season.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see. There's like, what other examples?
Well,
There,
Terminator 3.
Terminator 3, of course. Probably the most famous female presenting robot, Terminator
The
3.
worst.
You've got Rosie the Robot from the Jetsons.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
was-
kidding.
yeah.
If you don't really feel like you have anything to say about the tradition of the female presenting robot, like, I guess, what do you feel like the metaphor of being a robot, the metaphor of a robot lends to this movie?
Yeah. I mean, I think everything about this movie is
Yeah.
about that. It's
Right.
just being like a servant to whoever your, quote unquote master is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see where, the robot has always held that. Especially the female robot has always held that sort of trope. In all movies.
Yeah, for sure.
I was thinking also like Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah, another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Classic.
Classic female robot.
I don't know if I fully remember a lot of the nuance of those movies.
You're also not really a sci-fi gal,
I'm
right?
not.
You're not. Yeah.
I'm not unless there's horror involved. So
Right.
I mean, I guess that adds something new to this trope.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was, because what Charlie, you said about control, and it being women made me think, I don't remember a lot of those other movies. I feel like maybe Ex Machina does this, but the robot or AI having autonomy, because this is 100% a good for her movie.
100% of what movie? I'm sorry.
Good for her.
Oh, yeah.
There's that category of horror.
Good for her. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that this movie had a lot of complicated, not complicated, but there was a lot of back and forth between what things are control and what things are autonomy, with her. I was thinking, even when she takes the phone to control it, it is autonomy, but at the same time it's controls. So
Yeah.
It's like a weird loop, right?
Yeah,
There's
it's
a weird
a
feedback
weird
loop there. Yeah.
and I don't
interesting.
know if any of the other movies did that.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. So I also...
Remember them.
I clearly went down I went down just like a tunnel vision rabbit hole myself, and it was like, obviously everybody has seen
Well, I mean,
Fritz Lang's Metropolis and the Stepford
I've
Wives.
seen Metropolis, and I've seen what was the other one? Ex Machina.
Ex Machina,
But if
yeah.
you were to say, give me a summary of both, I'd be like, nope, no, I
Totally
no.
fair. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not exactly your cup of tea too. So if you were hey, summarize the last musical you watched, I would be like,
Vomit.
well, people sang, So
So we agree on musicals.
we definitely agree on
Charlie,
musicals,
how do
for
you
sure.
feel about
Yes.
music? All right.
Yep. We are
Some
all in
musicals are
agreement.
okay. Some musicals are okay.
Right.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, that's
Of
great.
course.
That
Yeah.
doesn't count.
Can I go in a quick sidebar about Rocky?
Yeah.
Just one thing I want to say,
Yeah.
and I'll probably cut it out. But I have a student named Rocky
Okay.
in AP Literature, And it is so hard when I call on him not to go, Rocky. But I absolutely can't.
You need to leave that in the
fired.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you have to you went on a deep dive.
I went on a deep dive.
And I
Can
feel
I
like
go
you
on
need
like
to let it out.
I need to let it out. Is it okay? Can I go on a spiel?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like the thing I want to say here, it's a slightly misleading question I asked you because I was asking you about the trope of the female robot. And actually, I want to talk about another trope that is often tied to the female robot, which is the trope of the like sort of mad scientist or the mad genius that often kind of invents the female robot. And it's like a whole, it's like a Pygmalion thing, you know, like you invent it, you fall in love with it. So as I mentioned, just to like name a few of those works that I mentioned before, where this trope exists, you've got the Future Eve, Metropolis, the Stepford Wives films, you've Ex Machina, Westworld. These are all pretty, popular examples of this. They all feature like a mad scientist who creates a woman robot, and the part that I'm going to actually try to sell you today, okay, bear with me here, is that Josh in this story is actually doing his best to fill the mad scientist role for he and Iris.
Well, he does. I feel like that makes sense because he tampers with her.
He does.
But doesn't this break the trope because he doesn't like her?
Sure. So aspects of it for sure. Yeah. Like there's definitely differences. And I think that some of those differences are kind of part of what I think is the larger statement of the movie. Like they're kind of meaningfully breaking the rules if you follow me.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way about
the pairing of the mad genius and the fembot is about it's about control, right? And the male desire at once to otherize and weirdly like instrumentalize women through technology, right? They not only want to make them seem other, but they want to like somehow use women in a way, whether that's for sex or for like whatever. Like in Metropolis, the robot Maria is used to like sow discord among the like workers and to create an uprising, right? And so I feel like this utilization is apparent in Companion. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Josh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the whole concept behind like these companion robots. And the company that makes them is like, yeah, here you go. Here's
Here's like a thing to be used.
Yeah.
And I feel like Josh is going extra with it, right? Because like how they're meant to be used is to just be like fuck buddies, basically, right? But like Josh is like, he's going extracurricular with it, right? He's trying to do some other stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the electric wine opener that keeps getting...
How could we forget?
Right? It keeps getting brought up in this movie. And I feel like that is like a really kind of adequate symbol for like what Iris represents to Josh, right? Like you've got the wine in the bottle, that's the whatever Josh wants, right? That's the money, the sex. You've got the cork, which is like the natural barrier that a person would normally have to like work to extract. But then you've got this machine that's going to really beautifully and easily like take it out, right? And so that you can get to the wine. Go ahead.
I love
or the brain.
Yeah,
or the brain. You might use it to get the brain out. Yeah.
I love that you did a deep reading of the wine bottle opener.
Well, but I think it's fine, yeah. But I think that's part of what makes the ending of the movie so like symbolically satisfying.
Because it's also
because
something futuristic that's like not futuristic, but it's like you don't need an electric bottle opener.
Right, it's a total luxury.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But it's also why it's so satisfying to see Iris plug that thing into his fucking noggin, right? I mean, because now like here she is. She was the opener, right?
Yeah.
So the Mad Genius, coming back to the Mad Genius, right? The Mad Genius instrumentalizes the female robot to get what they want. But they're also invariably depicted as this sort of like quirky, odd white man who solely advances science through his brilliance. And while some of those things I think describe Josh, like, being white, other things like being a genius, like, or being smart in any way, I don't really think that describes Josh. And I think that's kind of part of the point, right?
It's interesting that you say like quirky. He's not quirky, but he does.
You don't think he's quirky?
No, I think he's an incel. But
Yeah.
well, Harry was
But
so
the question is,
excited.
are incels quirky?
No, they're not. But they think that they are this outsider.
Yeah.
And the outsider is often quirky. He is not, but he really, like, especially towards the end, he literally makes a couple statements that says, hello, world, I am an incel.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, by him seeing himself as some kind of, like, outsider, the world is against him, it kind of fits that. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at those other scientists in there, who's to say they're not?
Well, the thing about
Misogynist.
those scientists is that another big feature of theirs is isolation. And, Dr. Frankenstein is isolated. Nathan from Ex Machina is isolated.
You're right.
He's out there in that little house by himself.
Yeah.
So, like,
And the definition of incel often goes with isolated, no friends, no partner, no, yeah.
yeah, totally. Like, isolation, like, I think we're using Josh's kind of incel nature to stand in for the isolation of the mad genius there that we would normally have. And where are we? How are we feeling?
Good.
Am I successfully selling you about Josh filling the mad genius trope in this movie? Or
Yes.
Or are you like, this
Yes.
is bullshit? Okay.
No, you
But,
are.
but I'm ready for more.
Very sure do. Yeah. I think we might need a wine refill too.
Sure, let's do it. Yeah. I feel like we have begun to like understand the wrongful treatment of the female robot. Like we're now telling stories about why abusing them is bad, right? Like that's kind of what Companion is. That's what Ex Machina was.
Yeah.
Like we're headed there. That's what Westworld is. But I think that the thing that hasn't been done yet is take the mad scientist down a peg, right? So where he's not just like a genius anymore. Now we have Josh, who, as you have mentioned, is like an incel. And he's like kind of pathetic, right? Just to speak a bit about genius and the idea of intellect for a second, okay? He plots maybe the most poorly executed murder
Oh my God.
in cinematic history,
Yes.
like astonishingly bad. As I mentioned, the fact that he's an incel begrudging the world for his own lack of success as opposed to the ambitious madmen that came before him, like he's not the modern Prometheus of Frankenstein, right? He's doesn't even have the creativity to name his own robot. He named it Iris after the Goo Goo Dolls song
Yes.
that's playing.
Which I loved that moment.
That song, by the way, have you ever seen the music video for it?
I don't think so.
Isn't he going up a flight of stairs? Or something?
No, and if you read the lyrics, it's just got the singer from the band like on the top of some kind of tall tower, like looking into telescopes, like searching for something, who knows what, we never see. And he's sometimes kind of like leaning over the edge of whatever tall platform he's on.
Oh my God.
It's like totally like it rings incel now. It's like very
Is the rest of the band in it or just him?
the rest of the band, you get shots of them
Okay.
just kind of on the street
But it's like
playing,
the incel looking for
one
person.
the
to
one
love
person
him.
who will love him. Yeah, absolutely.
I despise that moment when I heard Iris on the background music. I'm like, oh.
We're going to bring that into
Yes.
critique later.
All right. All right, bring it on.
100%. Yes.
It never occurs to him that she would be recording everything in the like modern day where like your phone is always listening to you and Alexa is like listening to you plot your murders and shit.
Right.
Like it never occurs to him. I love the scene where the two maintenance guys entertain his bullshit about Iris going haywire, but then the second they leave the house, they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy definitely jailbroke. He's fucked." You know, like I just love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this movie gives us a familiar fembot story, but replaces the genius with a fucking idiot, basically. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the big
Yeah.
picture here.
It empowers her.
Right.
more. Yeah.
I think it's an important step in liberating the female robot. And one that I can't say that I've seen before, really. And I watched a lot of this shit. So,
Well, it seems like in Ex Machina, that's a pretty, at the end, she escapes.
yeah.
And
She
they
escapes-
both die.
Right, but I guess my point is that in Ex Machina, his genius is never questioned. Like he is this modern Prometheus, this kind of crazy, ambitious scientist who did create life in a hole all by himself. And while there is a lot of critical stuff about Nathan, I think that movie is like very critical of Nathan. What they don't question is his genius, and by giving us this like fucking idiot incel in the genius spot in Companion, I think they do something a little different, which is something
Totally.
I appreciate.
Yep,
you know?
yep.
And he does a lot
gotcha.
of stupid things.
A lot of
There's
stupid
also the moment where he like bumps up the aggression on what's his name?
Patrick.
Patrick. And he says, "Stop cat."
Yeah.
He doesn't say how to stop cat.
Right.
He doesn't even think, oh, the aggression is up. What would he do to
Yeah.
stop cat? Like, and then he's like sort of surprised by
Like,
it.
oh shit.
Yeah, like he doesn't think through any.
He's a total idiot.
But it reminds me a little bit of like, if we go to an extreme incel type thing, the type that like writes a manifesto.
Yeah, and then shoots
like,
up a yoga class.
Yeah, exactly. And he
Yeah.
feels like that, but like doesn't think through the plan of anything. Just is like, well, woe is me. Like,
Well, I have this
Yeah.
quote from Drew Hancock just to drive home the idea of him being like an incel, like is supposed to be an incel. Drew Hancock, the director of the movie, said, "For Josh, it's not an accident that he doesn't react when people die. He has no emotional connections to human beings because having your phone be a human or look like a human, suddenly you're objectifying everyone you know in the same kind of way as an internet chat room. You stop looking at the text they're from, but there are people on the other side of that. What if it happened in your living room with people with faces, but you're not thinking of them as human? You're not empathizing. You're just kind of completely disconnected from them or empathy in general." And if that doesn't describe a fucking incel, like, I don't know really what does. The only thing it doesn't explicitly mention is, like, the misogyny.
but the,
you know?
the director said that.
The director said that. Yeah, about
I-
Josh. Yeah.
While I was watching the movie last night for the second time, I wrote the quote down that Josh says at the end, kind of like when they're at the dinner table together, and he says, quote, "This is a perfect representation of every woman in my fucking life. They use me, and then when shit gets a little tough, they abandon me." Like, he literally is saying, like,
Yeah.
it's their fault.
Right.
It's not mine. The world is rigged against me.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing that he's saying, but it's the characters actually like say these
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
the other
interesting.
quote when they're at the dinner table is, "You have no fucking clue what it's like out there.
Yes.
The world, everything. It's just a big fucking game, and I'm sorry, but it's rigged against people like me.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm a good guy. I'm decent. And what do I have to show for it? A cramped one-bedroom apartment and a robot girlfriend. I don't even own you, for Christ's sakes. You're a fucking rental. You know me, Iris. You know me better than anyone. And you know I deserve so much more than this, right?" Like, incel.
Yes. Oh my god.
So anyway, that's my spiel.
I think it makes sense because the one thing this movie doesn't do is show us her actual creator.
Right,
So
exactly.
like, if we're making a creator, it makes sense that it would be Josh because he picks her intelligence and
Yeah.
all these things about her.
Yeah.
But it's like
He customizes her. And customizing her is totally like the pathetic 21st century version.
It's like the half-ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not smart enough to build your own, but
Right.
you'll just like,
Yeah.
tweak it a little.
Yeah.
And only tweak what you're able to.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
But you also can't...
The things that you understand.
yes. Yep.
And the minute you try to take it beyond what it's intended to do,
Right.
it goes horribly out of control.
Yes.
And yeah. I also recognize, like, there is still something a little bit... It's not problematic, but, like, it's still a really male-centric reading of the movie.
Well, I don't know. It's about men's manipulation of women,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, or control of women.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't think that your reading is a man's perspective because you're a man.
Fair.
But
fair.
I think the movie is doing a lot with like manipulation and control versus autonomy.
Yeah.
Another relationship in the movie that could be a different way of showing control and autonomy within a relationship would be Kat's. Because when
Cat's relationship with Sergey?
Okay.
Okay.
Because when she's talking with Iris, I'm not going to remember any of these names. When she's talking, when she's talking with Iris on the couch, Iris like realizes that Sergey's married.
Yeah.
And like I feel like in a way it's the how do I put this? Like the mirroring of the heteronormative relationship where the woman is again an accessory but not a robot. Because Kat literally says, "Love? No. He'd have to think of me as a human being first. I'm an accessory like his fucking car. I wear what he wants, eat what he wants, fuck when he wants." So I feel like it's a moment of human relationships where she's almost choosing that lifestyle because of his money in
Sure.
a way, but
Yeah.
like it's like she's choosing, so that's the autonomy part, to let him control her, I guess, in a way. But like I've been trying to figure out how to put the two together, because
Yeah.
Iris is being controlled, but
And accepts it.
doesn't know it really
Right,
either at first.
right.
But when she finds out, she is still like, I'll do whatever you want. I'll like cook for you. I'll clean for you. I'll
Right.
be. But I don't know. It's not the same thing. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out, like, because I feel like the Kat and Sergey relationship
Yeah.
is somehow mirroring it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how many
that.
women out there, are manipulated by the men that they're with, and they're not robots, but they're also not super cognizant of the manipulation that they're
Yes.
experiencing. And then what is the difference there, really?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Circuitry? I mean, that's kind of it. But I like that. And that gives me some new insight into, like, one of the, like, weirdest... One of the scenes that maybe baffled me just a little bit is that conversation where she's talking with Iris, and Kat says, you make me feel replaceable. And I was unsure in what sense she meant replaceable in what way exactly, I guess.
I think because Iris does the same thing that Kat does for her partner.
Right.
So I think that's, this sort of quote unquote lifestyle that Kat's chosen is sort of this robotic relationship that she
Yeah.
has with her partner. And I think she kind of feels shitty about that.
Yeah.
And wants to figure out what she doesn't really know how to process it.
Sure. And I think we see a lot of equating Kat and Iris in this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of throughout, right? When Kat gets stabbed, what she does is like very robotically walk over to the couch and say like, "It's going to rain," you know what I mean? Like and then sits down next to Iris, who is also decommissioned, and like, yeah.
But maybe in that moment, it's a movie aligning women with the way that Josh views them, which is disposable and like trash.
Yeah.
And I think that, like what Charlie was saying about the with Kat and Iris, I think, yeah, that makes sense. But it's also can't change Kat's eye color or intelligence.
Right.
But you could get a doll and customize it to exactly as you want. You
Right.
could make it sleep and stop talking to you.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of guys out there, like Josh, would be
Yeah.
like, yeah, like.
Yeah, I can imagine in the future buying fuck dolls will be a thing that a lot of incels do, right? To like take out and enable their like aggressions and.
But maybe that's better if they just have like.
I don't think so. I've heard bits about this too, and I think that it will only like enable and validate their opinions and their views, and like I think it'll just make it worse. Yeah.
Maybe those like fuck bots can come like fembots with the boobs that have like guns.
Machine gun jumblies.
Yep.
How did I miss those?
Yeah. How is that not on the list
Yeah,
of
femme
female
bots.
robots?
That's a great point. Oh, wow. What have I done?
The creator clearly thinks of himself as a genius. Dr.
Yes.
Evil.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Classic example. While we're still on this thread of Kat mirroring Iris, I had this thought of, we kind of see Kat, pretty depressed and like struggling. And I think that's kind of that human element of her. So we kind of see that human element that she's, has this conflict with and is trying to resolve. Whereas Iris is kind of like on a whole different type of mission.
Yeah, I mean, with the dolls, you don't, or the AI robots or whatever they're called, you don't get those moments of self-doubt or depression.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
I don't know, though. I mean, I guess Iris doesn't doubt her relationship with Josh. Maybe that's like the only thing they don't doubt. But she is like anxious when she's like walking up to the house and she's like, they don't like me. I don't think they're going to like me.
That would have been
Like,
fun to see, like, if there was an anxiety scale on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for
how
sure.
anxious do you want your robot to be?
Sure there is.
Or if the programmers bake that into like sort of like the intelligence scale.
Right, like the higher up you go, the more
that's
anxious you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I must be really smart.
I do have one more analysis question.
Please.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that I didn't fully have an answer. I was okay. I was like, what do I want to think of to ask? And I was like, I want to ask a question that I don't know the answer to. So I did a little deep dive on the music. The song that they are dancing to in the beginning, that's also played at the very end, right before Iris kills Josh, is called Boy by Book of Love. It's from the 80s. The song is sung by a woman, and the lyrics describe her feelings for a gay man. So it's like unrequited love. The song lyric that we hear most dominantly in the movie is I'm Not a Boy. How do you both feel about this song as a choice to be played twice and basically rewrite the meaning of the song? Is there something the movie is doing with queerness in relation to the song?
Can you talk to me about like rewriting the meaning of the song? What do you...
Because if it's a cis human woman singing about a gay man in the song, that means that if the singer is saying I'm not a boy, that would have to relate to Iris. Iris would have to be the one saying I'm not, it's like basically saying like I'm not real. But in Iris's case, she's an AI robot.
Yeah.
She's not human. Does it make her not a girl because she's robotic? There's that question there. But then also, she would be singing it to Josh, but they are in love. It's not an unrequited love. I felt like the person maybe who picked the song just heard the lyrics and thought that'll be fun. But I don't know if it works. I wonder, is it doing something negative or problematic with queerness or transness? Like, what is it saying? What is it doing? What does it mean that like we're questioning whether or not she's a girl?
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
The thought that came to my mind was just kind of taking a more broad view of it and just seeing that, Iris is a robot. She wants to be a human and she's not being accepted. It's kind of impossible for her to be a human. So she's kind of left on the outside of this thing that she really wants to be a part of.
I love that. Yes, which the singer is also saying like she wants to be a boy. So okay, I like that.
It's like a
reading.
Pinocchio thing, I want to be a boy. No, but I wondered also if there was like a queer undertone in this movie. And I love that you brought up that song because I think that I don't really know quite what I have definitively to say about that part of the movie, but I do think it's significant that they play it twice. I think that there's a strong theme in this movie about cis straight relationships and the control dynamics that can often kind of crop up there, the problematic ones anyway. But I also felt like I was detecting like in Iris's emancipation from Josh, like a certain kind of queerness too. And I got that from the ending where she's got this like exposed robot hand and she's driving down the highway and she sees this other companion who is being yelled at by her terrible cis male partner. And she gives her this wave with her robot hands and I found it maybe a little flirtatious.
Oh, I
like,
love that.
There's maybe something like a little queer there happening, but also like the idea of like flaunting your robot hand is like a total kind of self-acceptance thing. And I wondered if, robotness is maybe kind of a stand-in or metaphor for queerness in this movie. I think it's well thought out that it's like Iris is a robot, but at no point is her humanity ever in question. We all immediately empathize with her.
Yeah,
and we
that's
empathize
true.
with her plight. And though she's like made of robot parts, like she's essentially human, right? I mean, for all
That's
intents and
true.
purposes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think I watched some brief excerpts of interviews with the director, and I recall that he mentioned that he started writing the story from Josh's perspective, but
interesting.
as soon as he wrote the scene with her coming up to those two coming up to the cabin, and she starts explaining like she's nervous, that he totally started seeing it from her perspective, and that kind of changed his way of approaching it. So it's really, it's really a story. He made the story and to be about from her perspective, versus his.
That makes sense why we would like empathize with her too, if it's from her perspective.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No doubt. It also a little bit speaks to just on the broader topic of like empathy and empathizing with Iris. I think there's a bit of a contradiction that I think is again caused by like marketing and stuff, where like the thumbnail for this movie is her with these like blank white eyes, and it really makes her seem like she's going to be the monster in the movie, and but she's really not.
When I started watching the movie, even though I was picking up on all the robot stuff, I was like, is she going to be the bad one? Is he going to be the bad one? Is she going to be the bad one? I kept going back and forth, and then I was like, he's so wormy. I feel like he's going to be the bad one, and he was the bad one in Scream too.
Yeah,
he plays the bad one very well.
You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of the poor man's Pacey.
Well, he is a baby of famous
He's a Nepo baby. Yeah, he's Jack
Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
Yes. Quaid. He is the child of
not Randy Quaid.
I really wanted to say it, but I knew it was wrong.
I know it's not Randy Quaid. Did I say that in the Scream one?
No, I kept confusing Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid in The Substance. So he did
that's right. I mean, Randy Quaid is in all the movies we love.
Cool. Well, does anybody have any other analysis questions, or should we,
I don't, but I'm always ready for...
Skip and Diddy on... I'm ready to
what did
Diddy
you just
on
say?
over to critique. Skip and Diddy on over to critique.
Skip on Diddy on?
Skip and Diddy on
Did
over
you
to
make
critique.
that up?
Yeah, I just did. Just
okay,
now.
all right. I just wanted to be clear that that's not a real thing.
I'm making it a thing.
Okay.
Don't judge me, Jen. Jesus. The thing that I want to say about this movie, I will say that overall, I immensely enjoyed it. However, I think that this is yet another example of a movie that we have that is fucking shit on by its marketing. I think that it fucking sucks that everybody knew going into this movie that Iris was a robot, because that would have been a huge twist. And let me tell you, because I went down this rabbit hole of this movie and other movies like it, I actually taught this movie to my AP Lit class, and I didn't say anything about it. Except that they knew that it was a unit about robots, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't say anything else.
So they didn't know.
They didn't know, and they were fucking blown away. They shat their pants when the first time, the poor man's Pacey was like, Iris, go to sleep. And she went, they were blown away. So I think that this is a movie, and it's like, it's produced by Zach Kreger, who did Barbarian. That's a very twisty film too. And I think that the twists in this movie could have been more effective if they hadn't sold one of those twists down the river just to get people in the theater. And I think that's bullshit.
I agree. Even though you find out relatively early on that she is AI. Like, it's after she kills Sergey that you're like, oh, we're told. Like, she is... I think that's the moment, maybe. Or maybe it's a little before that.
So she has... she's just killed Sergey.
Yeah.
She's there. It's like the thumbnail. She's covered in blood.
Yeah.
Knife in hand.
And then they put her in the chair, and then we have Oh, but then when she's standing there, he says, Iris, go to sleep, and then the screen goes black. That's right. It would have been great. Like, they didn't have to tell us that. The trailer I saw didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. However, the problem with that trailer made it look like the fucking dinner scene with her hand over the candle was the whole movie. And I was like, where's that scene? I thought we were going to have like a one-on-one convo the whole time type deal.
Totally. Well, the other thing, too, I will say is that this here is a show called Harry and Jen Do Horror with Friends. And this is not a horror film, you guys. Like, I don't think this is a horror film.
Harry,
I'm gonna go ahead.
Are we gonna have that debate?
I'm gonna say it.
That's like the question of what is art.
You can bite. You can bite if you want to, but I'm gonna say it.
I'm curious for your guys' opinion, you brought up the twist, revealing the twist. Does that matter? So should that affect a viewing of a movie? Like the integrity of a movie? If it's all about a twist.
No, it's a good question. Cause it lends itself to rewatches too. Because if that's the integrity of the movie, like if it is that like the twist is so important that you don't know what it is when you watch it, it's like a movie that you can only watch once and enjoy.
Right. So if you go back to it and you know what's going to happen, is it still a good movie if you know what the twist is? And I think that's a pretty good indicator of a good movie is if you know the twist and it still delivers on more than just that.
I think that's legit. So where do you fall on that with this movie?
With this movie, obviously new going in because it seems like you do a simple Google search of companion and it's like, oh, this movie about AI.
Robot.
So at first, I think I was disappointed with the movie, like on my first viewing, because I was expecting more of an AI movie. But on a second viewing, I think I saw it through a lens of more like a horror comedy or like a breakup movie, and I think it's a lot more successful in that regard.
Interesting. When you say an AI movie, you mean like kind of like a hard sci-fi thing? Okay, I see. Yeah, it is not that, I would say. Yeah. No, it is not that.
But it's go back to the marketing. It's kind of, they kind of push that part of it pretty hard.
Definitely.
So you're kind of set up to think like, this is a very timely movie. I'm going to the theaters to see something horrible about AI. And you kind of walk away with like, well, I'm not really scared of AI, but
I didn't really learn anything about AI. I think that's great, and that is such a good point, and I do think that it comes back to the marketing complaints that I have, which I think also genre-wise is like this argument that we're having about whether it's a horror film or not. Like,
well, no, it's a great.
If it was all her burning her hand on a candle at a dinner table, I agree. It would have been a horror film.
Well, I do think, now that I've thought about this more, I do think that I would put it under the umbrella of horror, but I would also put it under things like I think Charlie said, like almost like a romantic comedy aspect to it, or like the part that I wish it didn't, because it is sci-fi too, but the part I wish it didn't have was like the parts where it almost gets too actiony. In a way, like I feel like towards like not the end, but like the third quarter, I guess. It gets
where she's like in the woods running around.
Kind of.
When Patrick gets jacked up on aggression.
Yes. It is when,
he kills the cop and he's like killing everybody.
He's killing everybody and it gets it drags a little at that point. I don't love a character that just is like aggression kills. Like, you know what he's going to do. It's predictable. Like, I find it to be a little lazy. Like, it would have been interesting, I think, for the cop part and like maybe another, but like it's too much. Like Jesus Christ, it's so much. I think it's too much with him in that aggression role. It drags and it feels like the I don't know why I think the word heist, because it's not a heist, but the idea that they are trying to get money and there's this whole
money that's like spilling out of an open safe.
But it feels like I know it's like it's simple and sort of streamlined, but at the same time, something feels convoluted about it to me. Like, I don't love that kind of plot in a horror movie. I think that kind of plot doesn't always belong in a horror movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I agree. The question is, does this movie defy genre in a way that satisfies or that kind of frustrates? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think maybe part of that frustrating part is figuring out, well, what genre is it?
Right.
Breaking, yeah.
Gun to my head, I would just say sci-fi thriller. I think it's just a sci-fi thriller. I don't know.
Yeah. I do think it has a bit of horror in it, though, because there's some gore and murder, and I think the sci-fi elements are not like, this is the 41 whatever version. I don't fucking know what sci-fi.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Whenever it's a sci-fi movie, they're like, we're on spaceship 00358. It was built on this weird planet, and we speak a language.
That's the cold open. That's so perfect.
We have to go fix it with this metal tool, and I don't fucking know. Fucking sci-fi.
Jen loves sci-fi.
Jen, will you please write and produce a science fiction film? I need this movie now.
Okay, I'll work on it. I've always wanted there to be a horror movie called Gnome.
Like a gnome?
Yeah,
Like a garden?
yeah. So maybe I'll combine it with that and make it sci-fi gnomes.
Wow.
Well, what you can do is, make Gnome 2, make Gnome 3. Then when it gets
Gnome in
played out,
space.
yep, there you go. Gnome
All right,
in space.
I'm gonna have to wait a while for this movie.
Listen, I'm patient. I'm good.
Yeah.
Are there other parts you want to talk about? I mean, are there other things that were good or bad? Or was this just like an adequate film?
I really enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah.
I really think that the opening was great. I really liked her going to the house. I really liked I loved
too.
her killing him, and then her walking, and the way that the design of the blood on her was great.
Yeah.
The pacing was also great because there was also a little bit of comedy.
Yeah, totally.
Whenever we see Patrick and Eli.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That scene of them meeting, and then they do a little dance afterwards.
So great.
It's so great.
The inclusion of Harvey Guillen made amped this movie up for me in this really little way. I saw him, I was like, oh, Guillermo, cool. But then his part just kept being great and funny and adorable.
And he's not involved in the plan to get the money. He doesn't know about it.
Oh, but then he gets involved. And then you have this whole question about well, he's got a boyfriend robot too. Oh, but he loves his boyfriend robot. Oh, but he's still
kind of
using it like a tool. And so I don't know. I think that there's some meat there. I like that.
Yep.
Something I didn't get from this film, I feel like maybe Jack Quaid. I think he did a good job in the role, but I think he was a little miscast. Because he's supposed to be this kind of incel loser, but he's quite hot. So I don't know. I have a hard time believing that a man who looks like that is an incel, is gonna have a hard time getting laid. I don't know.
If you were to give him a number on hotness.
If I was to rate Jack Quaid's hotness?
Yeah.
I give him a 7.65.
Wow.
Okay, very specific.
Something
very
like that.
specific.
7.65.
Okay, so if he's a 7.65, you would want it maybe taken down to a 6.
Yeah, just a little ugly.
A point and a half.
You know what it is? It's because he looks too much like Pacey. He looks too much like Pacey from Dawson's Creek. And
yeah, but Pacey kind of looks like an incel.
Oh, no, he's so cute. That's what does it for me. I give him a 7.65. If he was a 5, it's I could care if he was born or if he wasn't born. And then lower than that, it's almost I wish he wasn't
Shouldn't have been born.
Canceled.
Oh my god. Who would you cast?
I would cast Domhnall Gleeson.
Who?
He is he's similarly in sci-fi movies. He's the guy who plays he plays a Weasley in Harry Potter, the older Weasley. He plays General Hux in the newer Star Wars films.
What's his name?
Domhnall Gleeson.
Okay, I'm looking him up.
He was in Ex Machina.
You get. Oh, okay.
He's just
Which character was he?
He plays the guy who's invited to.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
house.
All right. Yeah.
I can see that, but he's a ginger.
He's a ginger, but
Not everyone.
he's a little pastier. He's a little.
But you got to see the incel as every guy. Ginger's not going to work for that.
Maybe that's my problem. You're right. Maybe that's my problem.
And he does kind of play an incel in Ex Machina.
He does kind of, yeah. Before we really had that language for it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
true.
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to give this thing a number?
Yeah, let's do it. Who wants to go first?
I can't. No, sorry. I was about to say I will go first, and then I totally changed.
I've been thinking about this a lot. What number do I give this movie? I really enjoyed it, but the parts that dragged, didn't enjoy so much. I did enjoy rewatching it, which is always a thing for me. If I didn't enjoy rewatching it, fail. It's getting a low score. But would I want to rewatch it often? I don't know. So I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. I think I'm going to go, I've been wavering between a 6.5 or a 7. I think I'm going to go with a 6.5.
Do it. Oh, God. 6.5, okay.
Yeah, I really...
That's fair.
What?
It's like solid.
I feel like your 5s are lower than my 5s.
It is true. That's for sure.
Just to be clear, my 5 is that wasn't great, but
Yeah.
I'd rewatch it. A 4 is that's bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do I want to give it a 7? All right. I'm changing my mind. I'm giving it a 7. And the reason I changed my mind is because when we were talking about critique, I realized I didn't have too much critique other than the draggy parts and some of the other things that we talked about. I think it's a movie I would rewatch with people. And
Yeah.
I think I would be excited for certain twists and to see them watch certain twists.
Yeah.
I like that. I guess before I get to my score, I'll just kind of summarize that. I thought this acting was solid. Is obviously filmed well. It's funny. Is very funny in a lot of parts. Pretty clever script and screenplay. Great licensed song choices. And I kind of explained before. I was going in thinking this was going to be an AI kind of themed movie. So I think my first viewing, I was pretty disappointed by that. I think as, like I said, like a horror comedy or rom-com, I think it succeeds pretty well as just a fun movie to watch with some great ideas to think about, just about relationships and love and all that stuff. So yeah, I usually rate my movies on a 4-star scale.
Oh, all right, yeah.
So
we can maybe make a conversion if you want, or we can, yeah.
I've thought about the conversion. But yeah, for me personally, it would be 2 stars for me.
2 out of...
2 out of 4.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, but kind of to echo what Jen's saying, it wouldn't be something that I would rewatch on my own. But if I was encouraged to rewatch it, I would. And I might lend a recommendation to a friend.
Sure. All right.
But I think on the Harry and Jen horror rating scale, I would probably give it I would also give it a 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 4 stars converts to a 7 out of 10 on the
it really does.
Jen rating
Yeah.
scale, the HAJ.
Yeah.
HHJ.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to give this my favorite number, which is 8.
Oh, shit.
I give 8s. I give a lot of 8s.
You do.
8 is a movie that I think is perfectly fun and great and or just very entertaining for whatever it is going for, but just isn't. It's just not a classic. I don't think in 10 years I'm really going to be thinking very much about this movie.
I felt the same way.
Same, yeah.
And maybe someone will remind me and be like, "Remember Companion?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah, well, good movie. Remember that?" Yeah, but I still wouldn't be putting this in any kind of top 10 list or anything like that. I think the thing's holding it back. I mean, I hate to say it, but I really do think that if it had a bigger impression because I knew less about it going in, and I agree with you that a twist shouldn't be what the movie is about, and I don't think that's what this is about. But at the same time, there is a certain first impression that has to be made anytime you view a movie, and I think that this just didn't do it for me. And I think the marketing is at fault, and this is a big theme that I feel like we keep talking about in this podcast. The acting is good. It is fun. It is well paced. It is well written. I don't think it is a particularly profound movie. I just think that it is a fun romp. And I like that it says something about incels and incel culture and misogyny. And I like that we've got the figure of the mad genius, but he's a fucking idiot now. And I like that. But, it's an 8. It's an 8. Cool.
Oh, we didn't talk about the critique part that I wanted to bring up,
Oh,
which
yes.
was our debate between the inclusion of Iris by Goo Goo Dolls was a good choice or not as background music.
Charlie, you were earlier about to say that you hated that.
Yes.
Why?
All right.
Is it because you hate the Goo Goo Dolls? Which is fine. That's a fine answer. Yeah.
No, I'd say I don't have a strong opinion about that, but no, it just felt like too much of like a, an eye wink moment of like, oh, hey, see what we did here? This girl's name is Iris. See what song we're playing in the background?
Oh, see, but I thought that was like there to illustrate his lack of creativity.
That's what I thought
his like
too.
lack of invention.
That he was so stupid that he was like, well, I guess the song is a girl's name, so I'll call her that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't made super clear, like, did he come up with a name or did the robot company have the name already in place?
That's true because
I just rewatched that part too.
when the fucking company people take the form from him, they're like, oh, and Iris, like almost implying that he named her, but also
okay.
It's like he doesn't say, like it's not, it's not explicit.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
It still irked me.
Not a fan of the placement.
It made me cringe.
That's hilarious. That part actually made me laugh. But maybe it was the 90s nostalgia that made me laugh too. So, hard to say.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch the T2 reference as well?
The what?
Terminator 2 reference.
Oh, Terminator 2.
No.
No.
There was, so when Patrick dresses up as the cop,
Oh my God.
do you remember the actor that plays the
Yes.
cop
Yeah,
in
sure.
T2? Robert Patrick?
Yes, because he was. Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Because he was later in X-Files.
Yes, he
yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whenever that guy pops up, it's always like, oh, the Terminator.
Yeah.
That's right, and
It's-
his name was Patrick.
yeah.
Holy
That's
shit.
so funny. I love that.
That was another thing where it was like, oh. It was like,
Charlie's like, don't do it. Then.
You're
Yeah.
not feeling that. You're not
I wasn't feeling it.
You're not feeling the Easter eggs.
yeah.
You're not an Easter egg guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when the Easter eggs are so closely thematically, within the same realm as what the
Got you.
material is, I think that's when it's like, oh, I bet you didn't notice this.
Yeah. If you're on an Easter egg hunt, you don't want eggs just out there in the wild.
right.
You want to have to fucking dig
Yeah.
and lift up branches. and
Most of the
shit.
time, I'm not even looking for them. So,
That's true.
like, if I do see them,
Now, should we rate who the hottest is?
Oh, yes.
who wasn't hot in this movie?
This is one
It
of
was
those movies.
actually true. This movie was filled with hot people, actually.
This is one of those movies that like bugs me
Yeah.
about
Oh,
too many hot
shit.
people.
That's true. Even the cop?
I
Yeah,
don't really remember what that guy looks
it's a
like.
rock and stash.
He does have a pretty
He's
epic
a
stash.
silver fox.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Sophie Thatcher.
Yeah.
She's so hot.
you
I
went with
picture
her
with
for
fucking
Heretics,
Heretic, too.
will you?
Yeah. If she's in a movie,
I mean,
I'll
it's a
probably
great
say it.
choice. It's a great choice. I want to go with
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid. That's what I want to go with. I want to say, I kind of love Harvey Guillen.
Yes!
So squishy. I just want to squish him.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sophie Thatcher, but at the end, where she's transformed into a badass and wearing black jeans and leather jacket.
And has the
And
robot
has
arm.
the Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. Well, we play this game where we try to think of who would be the best character in this movie for maximum comedic effect to replace with Christopher Walken. But then we can also expand. I thought maybe let's expand this. Like, let's just pick who could we recast in this movie to hilarity in some way. It's already a very funny movie, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, what if you replace Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid? What if we replace those two? What if one was Keanu Reeves and one was Christopher Walken?
Wow.
Which one's which?
maybe Christopher Walken is Iris.
Oh.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like if Christopher Walken was Jack Quaid, it would be, and then Keanu was Iris.
Oh no, actually that would work better. Yeah.
Now Iris, I gotta tell you, you're a robot.
Now do an impression of Keanu. I can't do it.
I'm a what? No, I have emotions. That would be the funniest bit too, where he's like trying to argue that he feels feelings, but he's acting like Keanu Reeves, like that.
Oh my god,
feel anger.
Amazing.
Christopher Walken as Sergey.
I think Sergey is the right answer. I love that.
That would be great. That would be
I love
great.
that. The other thing that I thought might be kind of fun to play with this movie is there was like an internet meme that was like, what if you replaced every actor in a movie except for one with Muppets? And so like, who would be the one actor you would keep in this movie?
I feel like it'd be really amusing to see Kat as the one that's
As the one human?
and
Nice.
everyone else is a Muppet.
Yeah.
I can imagine the scene where Iris is like tied up in a chair, and then everyone around her is just Muppets arguing about whether they should like how they should deal with this situation.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or just Jack Quaid dealing with all these Muppets.
Oh,
Actually,
that's good too. Yes. No, that's good too. You're right.
Because I feel like I could just picture Jack Quaid being so like annoyed.
Yeah.
Right.
He's always annoyed.
And Miss Piggy is obviously going to be Iris, right?
What if Miss Piggy was Sergey though? Miss Piggy is aggressive enough.
Are you trying to tell me that Miss Piggy is aggressive enough to be a sexual assaulter? Is that what you're saying right now?
Okay, if we look at the Muppets, she was literally chasing Kermit all the time. Kermit wanted nothing to do with her. She chased him all the time and like was like trying to get in his Muppet pants.
What's one change to the movie that you would make for maximum effect? It can be realistic, or it can be totally ridiculous. It could be inside the realm of possibility. It could be totally fictional, like, you know.
But it can only be
fantastical.
one change.
One change, only one change.
Okay.
I know what mine would be.
What?
I would get rid of the whole money stealing.
Oh, yeah?
That's a good one.
I think it would still make sense to have them want Sergey dead,
Yeah.
but for another reason. Like maybe
Right.
he wasn't married and cheated on Kat, and they were just like pissed or whatever. I don't know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
anything else. But like I would take out the money plot.
Yeah.
So something that I really thought was happening in this movie, and then it turned out to not be happening at all in a way that didn't totally feel natural to me, was that I thought that Josh and Kat were, you know, killing Sergey because they're in a relationship and they're running away with his money. And like, I really felt strong vibes that way in the first act of the movie. And I didn't realize that that wasn't the case until like almost mid-movie when he's like, we're so close to, you know, pulling this off, and he goes to hug her, and she gives him like the stiffest, grossest.
yes.
He's like, she's very not into it, and then there's jokes later about them being together, and she's like, ew, you know what I mean? And, so I guess maybe parts of that are like, you know, it seemed like a really logical explanation for me in the beginning. I guess I don't necessarily need it. I guess it's not a huge detriment to it, because I do think it's important for like understanding this movie's commentary about like incel culture, that like maybe he shouldn't be ugly. I hear what you're saying. Like maybe he should just be like kind of a normal looking dude. I still think he's too hot.
I think I would, as far as changing something, I would make the AI more batshit crazy, and like a lot more intelligent. So I think that could have played out really interesting to see, just like an AI just outsmart every move of the cast, and probably would have kind of lent itself better to a cautionary tale about AI if it was just like something that was just totally realistic, but also crazy.
Yeah, sure. Well, if she had gone like really super intelligent, she could have turned the movie into like Predator. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of, like,
Yeah.
Predator, I'm by that. Are you saying that the Predator?
She's the Predator.
Okay.
Like,
I just wanted to be clear that you weren't talking about like Arnold.
no, I mean, there's
also
Thatcher, but she would have.
They call Arnold in, yeah.
Right. Oh my God.
It's just me, artist.
If we could replace one character with Arnold,
Oh,
who would that be?
I feel like Sergei's a good choice.
That's the obvious choice.
So obvious.
That's obvious.
The cop.
No.
He would be the cop.
Oh, the
The cop is good.
Yes.
Patrick would be good too.
Patrick would be good
I want to
too.
hear Arnold deliver the monologue about meeting.
Yes. Or what love feels like.
What love feels like.
Oh, I want that.
I was sitting by the snack table, munching on carrots. It's a bad Arnold. I'm sorry, everybody. The drinking game for this one's going to be every time Harry does a bad impression. All right, friends. Well, go ahead.
We need one more thing.
We do need a thing. What we need is a soundbite, Charlie.
Oh, man. I knew you were going to put me on the spot, and I didn't even, prepare anything.
You can literally make any kind of ridiculous noise into the...
Oh, yeah.
Man. I think I have a quote that I could probably throw in. Let me see. You think you're so fucking clever? It's just programming.
You know, words to live by, I think. Words to live by.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take it out of context, right?
Yeah.
All of us. We all think we're so fucking clever.
It's just
programming.
Programming. Profound.